Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting Fortnite tutorial video. In this video, we're going to go over instant campfires. Yes, instant campfires. The campfire system in creative is a little different than in Battle Royale, and it's not really useful or good in the creative environment, so I'm creating instant campfires. As you see here, jump over it and you instantly get your health back. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that now. Some of you guys may remember me from the block back in Season 7 and Season 9, and I'm here today to continue my creative journey and teach you guys how to create cool stuff. This video is a continued video on my Camp Overlook Zone Wars series. Make sure to check out the other videos in this series. This is where you can reference how the campfire works in this map if you want to check it out before we begin. Alright, guys, what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and go over to devices and choose the cozy campfire. We're going to grab the cozy campfire and throw it down right here. And once we've thrown down that cozy campfire, we're going to go ahead and grab three other things. The first one being a device. So go ahead and select the trigger. Alright, the trigger device is now placed down. We're going to go ahead and choose another device, and that's going to be the class designer device. We're also going to grab the class selector device. We're going to grab those and also drop them down as well. Alright, and moving on, we're going to go ahead and grab the trigger device. We're going to take a copy of that trigger device and move it over the campfire. We need to size it though. It needs to be a little bit bigger than the campfire. What we're going to do right now, you can go ahead and hit B to resize there. On the left, you can see that there. If you're on a PS4 or computer, go ahead and take a look at what the command is for that. Once you've resized it, you can shrink it, make it a little thinner, do all of those things. Just get it perfect over that campfire and go ahead and place it. Then we're going to go ahead and change the trigger options, but let's just delete that other trigger first. Now going into options. Let's go down the list here and change the options we need as needed. Activating team any, triggered by player on, triggered by damage off, triggered by items off, triggered by vehicles off, triggered by sequencers off. We just need it to be triggered by player. Times that it can be triggered, you only want it to be triggered once. So only the first person to get there, that lucky number 1, will get there first. Transmit every 10 triggers, just hit 1, delay none, reset delay none, trigger sound enabled. We want to disable that actually. Disable trigger sound, disable trigger VFX, visible in game, no. I don't want to see that trigger device. We're going to leave receive damage while invisible. We're going to leave enable on gain start alone. We're going to leave the rest of these alone. And then the last one we're going to go ahead and change is when triggered on, transmit to channel 1 or whatever channel you're using in your game. Moving over to the class designer, we're going to go ahead and move down the list here. You don't need to name the class designer at all. We can skip that part. Class identifier 1. We do need to choose a class identifier or this will not work. So I chose 1. Grant items on respawn, no. We're going to leave all these options default. Okay, equip granted item, default, visible during game, default. Grant ammo with weapons, no, because we already did an ammo system. We don't want to add any weapons. Starting health 100, max health 100, starting shields 100, max shields 100. We want to make sure we add those because we want to give the player 200% health basically when I go over this campfire. At least in my example, you can change that to whatever you want, but I want the player to have this super advantage of if they have 10 health, they're now going to have 200. Leave everything else to don't override and don't touch it. Moving on to the next, we're going to go ahead to class selector. Now on the class selector, we're going to change it to 1. Now we know that those two are going to talk because they're both number 1. Everything we're going to leave alone here, except for time to switch, we're going to go to instant. We want the health to hit them instantly. Respawn player and class, no, leave it alone. Leave all these alone here. Clear items on switch, we can leave alone. We can just leave these now. Volume visible in game, no, I don't want that. Visible in game, no, I don't want to see it. Alright, finally, we're going to go ahead and scroll down and leave all these channels alone, except for one that's important, which is change player to class when receiving from channel 1. Once you've chosen channel 1, you have selected everything properly, and we are all set. Perfect. For my example, I do change some of the options here. The biggest one's just making sure the starting shields and starting health are at 100% each for this example. I also made sure fall damage was on as well, or the example doesn't work. Now, I want to show you a little bug, and this is important. You'll notice if I run over this way, I go over the class selector, and it went off. Now, that's seems like, well, maybe not a big deal, but it actually is, and I'll show you why. So now I'm going to jump here and take damage. Okay, I took the damage, and I'm going to run over this cozy campfire to get my 200 health, or in this case, get back up to 100, and it didn't work. Now, the reason for that is because I went over that class selector. Guys, it's really important that you hide the class selector somewhere where people cannot touch it or get to it. So now, if we do it correctly, and I drop and take damage and go over the cozy campfire, it will work perfectly, as you'll see here. Bam! Got my 100 health, and I'm good to go, ready to fight. Now, if I had gone over the class selector to the right first, that would not have worked. So make sure you put it somewhere off to the side of the map where people cannot run over it on accident. That's this guy right here. Our campfire is almost ready to go, but now we need to go ahead and spruce things up. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of a flare to the campfire. We're going to go to the particle effects. I'm going to open the gallery by hitting the Y button here on the Xbox. And you can look through the gallery. I want the first one right there. That first particle are firing embers. They're like these embers that come out of the ground. And we want this fire to look a little bit more vivacious and large and maybe bigger than life. So we'll add this right here. And you'll notice what it does, it just makes it seem more important, like, wow, maybe I should visit this thing and get some health. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, going over all of these things. I'm so happy I can keep showing you more and more tutorials on my Camp Overlook map. I want to keep bringing you more of them. Make sure to check the map out and see all of the great things I've done here. This is the most interactive Zone Wars map ever, and I'm teaching you how to make every single thing on the map one by one. I hope you guys enjoyed.